iFILM, London. iFILM, London.
I'd like to welcome you all to the Manchester Town Hall for the press conference, the final press conference for the Hitman is Back, which is a sold-out event Saturday night at Manchester Arena. Firstly, I'd like to apologise that the opponent Senchenko has decided he doesn't want to do the face-off today and he won't come, so he's not turning up. So I'd like to apologise for that. No idea the reasoning behind it. The only explanation is I've had is he doesn't want to do the face-off. Also in the room, I'd just like to make a quick introduction to Mr. Paulie Malignaggi, the WBA welterweight champion, who's come across to watch the fight. So really, it's probably going to be a short and sweet one today. Before we start, I'd just like to personally say that the last 5 months, the transformation this fella at the side of me has made, and I've watched every step of it, maybe 4.5, 5 months, is absolutely, to be where we're sat today, is absolutely miraculous. And I think it's a lesson to anybody in life, not just sport, but in life, that if you're willing to make massive change, you can achieve massive things. And on Saturday night, I really believe Ricky's going to do that. So I just personally like to say well done, pal. So really, all I'm going to do, I'm going to let Bob say a few words, if that's okay. Then Ricky will say a few words, and then we'll open up for questions. If anybody wants to ask Senchenko everything, we'll just hear the sound of silence today, I'm afraid. So I'll pass over to Bob for the thoughts on the fight and the event.
Yeah, well, like I say, we've been together now for 10 weeks. It's been amazing 10 weeks. It's been a great journey for Ricky and myself. Like you say, you seen Ricky 6 months ago and he was nearly 15 stone. Before he came to me, he got rid of the weight. He did 3 months on his own. I mean, to do that is incredible, to lose that kind of weight. He came to me, like I say, 10 weeks, and we've been in training camp and we've done the runs, fell runs, sparring, everything we've done, and it's been an amazing journey for me. And I can honestly say, come 24th on Saturday night, it's going to be Ricky at his best. We're going to get the legend back. Like I say, it's a great journey, and I'm so happy.
Okay, thanks Bob. And now I'll let Ricky himself say a few words about what he expects on Saturday night and how he's feeling today. Rick?
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming. As always, the sport has been phenomenal. It never ceases to amaze me. As I've said on numerous occasions, the support I have from my fans. And you think, the fans who used to take over to Vegas. The last time I fought in Manchester City, Manchester Stadium, 58,000. Koshizou fight was sold out in 3 hours. This fight was sold out in 2 days. Makes me feel very, very humbled, and just the support, not just from press, from people on the street. When you walk in the gym, just everyday people just letting on to you, saying, "Well, we're proud of you, Ricky." Because I think there's a lot of people out there, but fight fans and public that have seen me, round about the 210 pound, 15 stone mark, bouncing around Manchester, drunk as a skunk. They must have looked at me in disbelief of, God, is that man we used to admire so much? Is that the man that used to take all them fans, that won all them world titles? I turned into a very, very sorry state, and my life went absolutely bang, massively out of control. So I feel I've already won today without even throwing a punch at this top table. 5 months ago, come back, you'd have laughed if I'd have mentioned it, but it's been a slow journey, bit by bit. I've done it the correct way, I've got my weight down in the correct way, I've got myself mentally prepared, and I don't want to go into too much of the personal stuff from the bottom rung of the ladder where I've been for all them years now. I'm here ready to talk about the fight because all that was yesterday. Present day, Ricky Hatton sat here. He's the meanest, most ferocious Ricky Hatton you've ever seen. I had a dream of becoming a world champion all them years ago. 7 years ago when I beat Koshizou in the Manchester Arena. 7 years ago it was that day, and that was when I was at my hungriest, because I had a dream of becoming a world champion, like we all do. But the desire I have now in this fight he's way beyond becoming a world champion. I feel like I'm redeeming myself. All them world titles have been for nothing for me. I'm here to right the wrongs of what I've done. I feel I've let a lot of people down in that space of time. And you watch me go Saturday night. I've really turned the clock back, and I don't expect you to believe it. You know, 34, all them tough fights, all them burning the candle at both ends. You know, there's no way that second round defeat against Manny Pacquiao last time, it was brutal. No way can he come back the same. I won't come back the same. I'm going to come back better Saturday night. You watch.
So what I'd like to do, if that's okay with everybody, we'll just open it up to the floor and you state your publication and obviously the question.
Rick, do you regard it as a weakness that the guy can't have a face?
Couldn't give a shit if I'm honest. You know, it's, you know, I've, you know, seeing my opponent, it would have been nice, you know, I think any boxer will tell you it's nice when you know, you have a couple of days before the fight, you know, when you get the chance to see your opponent for the first time, his height, his side, how he's made the weight, you know, it would have been nice to see him, but I mean, I can wait till tomorrow. I'm not really bothered. I mean, with what I have had to do to get fit and to get in the position I'm in, sat at this table, I'm not bothered about waiting another 24 hours, to be honest with you. You know, it's really nothing to me. Don't know, you know, he might be playing a bit of mind games, you know, just, you know, who knows what it is. The main thing is I'm here, you know, to tell the story of how hard it's been to get here and what good shape I'm in, and he's going to be a good fight. You know, he's a former world champion. I think Richard, you know, was, you know, the whole team advised me, well, you don't need to go that much in the deep end for this first one back. Just pick someone like a journeyman type, you know. And I just said to Richard, I said, how long have you known me? Stop it, Richard. You know, we're not going to fight the world titles if we fight, you know, run-of-the-mill opponent. Well, and that's what it is. You know, I'm not going to say I'm the greatest fighter that's ever lived. I'm not going to say I'm the greatest British fighter that's ever lived. But I'll fight anybody, and that's why people love me, I think.
Anybody else?
Rick, can I, do you mind me asking you about the undercard? Because you've got a great undercard as well.
Yeah, the undercard's brilliant, you know, to be honest with you. You know, two WBA interim world titles, you know, Martin Murray against Navarro, you know, Scott Quigg versus Rendell Monroe. Then we've got a British championship with Steve Foster Jr. and Gary Buckland, which you've seen them two fight. That can't help but be a sensational fight. Then we've got a European light middleweight title with Sergey Rabchenko fighting his mandatory challenger V2. Cedric V2 likes to come and have a scrap as well. And with the lads on the undercard, you know, I mean, you know, Jazza Dickens, I think he's one for the, you know, for the future. Scott Jenkins, Adam Etches, Ashley Fairbairn's on the bill. You know, it's you know, take me off the bill. You know, I mean, you've got any of them fights could stand alone as top of the bills in their own right, and we'll put it all in one night. So it's a real winner. You know, when I sit down at this top table, we're talking about my fight, my comeback, which obviously sort of like gets the headlines. But you know, when you took me off the bill, that's one hell of a bill as well. It's one hell of a show, and I'm really, really proud of the job that Mick and most of the team have done in putting the show together. It really is something.
Ricky, with the other fighters, when did you actually take the back roll, step back, make some training?
Last night. No, to be honest with you, you know, it's like me when, you know, when you get to you know, you're 3 and 4 weeks out, the majority of your work is sparring. And me and Bob will be doing a lot of technique work on the pads, you know, working on, you know, tactics for the fight, and but ultimately, you know, as I was getting to my hard weeks, you know, say for instance Sergey, who are trainers on the same bill, he was getting to his hard weeks. So when I was sparring, then Sergey would spar. You know, I was doing my coaching from the ring apron as opposed to doing the groundwork in the gym on the pads and that. You know, but I have been doing, you know, a lot of pad work with Sergey because he's fighting a southpaw opponent, you know, who has a very specific style. So you have to have that pad work. I feel like your technique work on the pads is always your preparation. You know, it's like your dress rehearsal, isn't it, for the fight, your pad work. So you need that pads work. But, you know, whenever me and Bob have been having an easier day, I do a little bit of pads with the lads, you know, and then when obviously I was sparring, I had to take a back seat and let my assistant coach Mike Jackson take the reins. Believe it or not, I think it's made me a better fighter for this fight, to be honest with you, because I mean, I tell my lads in the gym who I train and coach every day, you know, move your head before you go in, jab first, you know, feint before you go in, move your head after the combination, you know, and, you know, things that sometimes I forget in the past to do, you know what I mean? I've got to practice what I preach a little bit. There's no point me telling the lads in the morning to do this and then me not carrying it out in the evening. So I think, you know, you see things differently from this side of the ropes as a coach, you know, the advice I'm passing on to my kids, I've got, you know, they've come to watch me in the evening and gone, hey Rick, what's all this moving your head after combination stuff, you know, I mean, it's been good, and I need to be, my time needs to be filled, to be honest with you.
Yeah, switch off Saturday night when they're here.
I'm sorry?
You're going to get that switch off Saturday night when they're here.
Absolutely, because, you know, Sergei's training couldn't be any better. He's looked absolutely sensational in training. And I know that my assistant coach, Mike Jackson, is there, you know, to pass on the tactics that I've, you know, set in place for it. So, no, not worried at all. The only thing that will be certain is that Sergei VYACHESLAV will put on another blistering performance. You know, you'll be well impressed. You'll see the further improvement that me and Sergei have done together.
Is there any chance that we'll see you in Sergei's corner if your fight goes as well as you expect?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I haven't seen the running order yet. I think Sergei's on earlier on in the evening, so I mean, I need to concentrate, you know, on my own job. But I'll speak to Sergei in the afternoon, you know, fill in him, go through the tactics, and you know, and Sergei's in good hands, you know. I mean, in the corner he's got his manager, you know, Philip Fondue, who's got a wealth of experience. Mike Jackson, my assistant coach, who knows what exactly I want from Sergei tactically, and we've talked to no end about, you know, what should happen if things go wrong, how he should adapt, how he should change his game plan and everything. Sergei's in real good hands, you know, and I've no doubt, you know, I've nothing to worry about with Sergei. He's in good form.
Ricky, you talked quite a bit about, you know, going back to boxing a bit more and being a bit more cautious. Will you still have the hand speed? Will you be able to still throw the volume of punches? And how are you going to have to control your instinct, you know, to go in there and fight the way you used to fight?
I think my hand speed's been better, to be honest. There's one thing, you know, you can say, like, the defeat against Pacquiao was a brutal one. You won't get too many more brutal knockouts than that. You know, and I have, you know, burnt the candle at both ends, you know, outside of the ring, and I have had a lot of wars inside the ring, but I don't think I even prepared myself for being out of the game 3 years, what hunger it has given me, and what that seems to have made up for lost time in more ways than one. You know, I've got such a burning desire now, and you know, I've spent so much time sulking about the Mayweather defeat, sulking about the Pacquiao defeat, that I've been able to look at them fights and I look at it, you know, listen Ricky, you know, they were your two biggest fights, and that's when you did your two biggest, when I messed up, you know, too aggressive, too over-eager, too trying to jump all over them too quickly, and you know, I'm not the fighter I think I am if I don't look at them fights and not learn by it. You know, if I make them mistakes all over again, then I'm not the fighter I think I am I? You know, so I take, you know, that I've spent so much time of, you know, sulking, and it's well documented where I ended up, you know, driving myself insane, how I couldn't get over them two defeats, but they're working in my favour present day, because I can look at them now, you know, you put your hand in a fire, you burn your hand, you don't do it again, do you? And it's what I've got to do Saturday night. It'll be a very emotional night for me, because the ring walk for me, and I think I speak for most fighters, is obviously when you've got to hold your nerves together, you know, you start thinking about your family and your kids and what you've got to get to this point. And I've got a few more things to think about on this ring walk, and how I let everyone down, you know, how I, you know, disgraced myself, you know, how, you know, I'm here to redeem myself. All these things are going to go with my mind, and it's, you know, I've got to keep all that tension inside and control it. You know, I've got so much, you know, life has kicked my ass, and I've got so much tension and anger inside that I want to throw at Senchenko, but I can't throw it at him like I did against Manny Pacquiao. It's got to be controlled to the game plan. You know, I've got to throw all that fury and anger that I have in a positive manner. So it's going to be a bigger night for me than what you think, making that ring walk. I've got to hold it together, and if I'm the champion, I believe I am, it won't be a problem. You know, we could need a mop and bucket when I'm leaving the ring, but no, you know, that's all about a champion. You know, sometimes, you know, life doesn't go great. Sometimes we have our problems, and you've got to be the champion and come back from it, or you can let it crumble you. and it won't crumble me on the night, you know.
Anybody else?
With Jennifer, how hard was it to convince her to come back?
Jennifer was the hardest one to convince, if I'm brutally honest with you. I mean, you know, it really is nice, you know, you get so many fight fans and friends and, you know, and just the general public saying, Ricky, don't come back, we don't want to see you get hurt again. Don't tarnish your career, you know, you've only got beat by Mayweather and Pacquiao, they're the two best pound-for-pound fighters of the recent years, you know. Why are you doing it again? And even them people that thought I shouldn't have done it, when I tell them the story of how bad things got, you know, I wanted to kill myself, you know, they've started, you know, they know why I'm doing it now. I've made a believer of them, you know, if you like. And Jennifer was one that I had to convince more than anyone, you know, because believe it or not, a lot of people say, did boxing save your life, Ricky? It wasn't really. I got myself together mentally before it even mentioned comeback. I mean, it was like I started losing all my weight and looking after myself, and the comeback wasn't even mentioned at the time. And everybody was sort of like saying, well, what's he up to, Fatty there, look at him, he's lost all this weight, well, you know, he must be making a comeback. The thought at the time hadn't even crossed my mind. So with Jennifer, I said to her the first day, I said, Jen, I'm thinking of giving it another go. And Jennifer went, oh, Rick, what are you doing? You're all right now, just leave it the way it is, because I had got myself on the straight and narrow, do you know what I mean? Why do you want to put it in jeopardy again? And when I explained to Jennifer, I went, Jennifer, you've seen more than most what I've been to, you know what I mean? How bad it was. You coming downstairs in the morning and I'm having a nervous breakdown with a knife at my wrist. You know why I've got to come back. It's hurt me, that I feel like I've let myself down. You know, and if I can convince Jennifer after everything that I've been through, you know, and I think bit by bit I've convinced everybody else now, you know, it doesn't matter what everyone thinks. You know, everyone can say, don't be harsh on yourself, Ricky, you've had a career you should be proud of. If I think it, I think it. It doesn't matter what anybody says to me. I've got to do this for the sake of my life, not just my boxing career, for my life. And I know there's going to be a few critics out there, you know, so let's say, nah, he won't come back the same. Well, just give me the chance Saturday night.
Anybody? No? Okay, well, just before closing also, I'd just like to thank everybody internally at Hatton Promotions, all the way through from the box office to events, to travel, to accounts, because what we've done really in recent history is unprecedented. We've took a fight, we've took an event without worrying about any television money or what the television deal's going to do. Because of Ricky's popularity and the belief we've all had in each other, we've took this event and sold it out, and we only actually did the TV deal about 4 weeks ago. So in a time when everyone's dependent on, you know, grabbing the TV and then doing the bill after, Ricky put this bill together and we've worked backwards. So I'd just like to say quickly, just thanks to everybody internally who's worked so hard to get us to where we are today. So on that note, I'll close. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. The weigh-in tomorrow night will be 5 o'clock in the adjacent room here. The first fight on Saturday will be at 5:45 and we'll begin with Mitch Buckland and then going to the VYACHESLAV European fight. If anybody would like any one-to-ones now, if you just have a quick chat with that distinguished looking chap there, Nick, he'll organise it now and we'll go from there. So thanks for everyone for your attendance. Thanks to Senchenko for nothing maybe, and we'll see you all tomorrow on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you everyone.